Does Dr. Simon struggle with weight as well? And how much weight has he lost through the years? Okay, the answer is yes. I didn't struggle with weight when I was, like a teenager or in high school. I mean, to some degree, but I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. I played sports and all that sort of thing, and it just kind of took care of itself. I joined the Army right out of high school. That kind of took care of itself. But once I went to medical school, once I got through college and went to medical school and residency, and that's just a scholastic endeavor that's all consuming, and you quit being as physically active, and you're eating a lot of drinking a lot of sugary things to stay awake so that you can, kind of perform for 18 or 20 hours a day. This was not good. And this led to real problems with me. And so my weight got as high as 300 pounds, and I had pre-diabetes and just high blood pressure, was not in a good state. And then I ended up losing as much as 80 pounds down to 220 pounds. And I've had to be aggressive about monitoring. Every time I turn my back on my weight, bad things happen. It just goes right back up. So I've gained and lost significant portions of that several times in the last 20 years. And what I would say is that, right now my weight's a little bit higher. I kind of vary to 240 to 250. I'm doing a lot of heavy weightlifting. So I haven't gained weight due to an excess increase in my body fat mass, but instead of lean mass. And I'm not too worried about all of that. I would be worried about it if I'd gained it in fat mass, but it's something that I'm never going to be able to turn my back on. And most of you won't be able to do that either. You may find this out the hard way, but I would say you've got to pay very close attention to it. So I actually did see somebody who has the same specialty as me to help me lose that weight and to continue to manage it. And that's been very, very helpful. So I'm really familiar with the idea of taking medication, behavioral change, nutritional interventions, physical activity interventions. These things are not just from a professional standpoint up my alley, but from a personal standpoint too. So we got another question from the audience here. It says, what do you look up in your what do you look up in your personal and professional life? I'm not sure. Oh, who do you look up to? Okay, in professional, personal life. Well, I think that I have different, Barbara. This is from Barbara. I have different types of folks that I look up to. I'm kind of a spiritual person, so in my personal life, I tend to look up to those kind of figures. And I get a lot of good advice from my producer here. I think he wants to be that figure, but my relationship to God is the divine is a little more important than my relationship with my producer. So I think there's various people along the way, in my personal life that have made a big difference to me. One of them is my father. I mean, I spent the weekend with him playing golf down in Pinehurst. And at 83 years old, it's just a real thrill to be able to do that with my dad still. And he's given me a lot of great advice and helped me so much over the years. And many of my patients, because he worked for me for a long time, do know him. And so he's been real influential in my life. I would say professionally, that I wouldn't say that there's one person that I necessarily look up to. There are multiple people. I like to hear, I think, professionally, I'm careful not to just get trapped into one way of thinking about things because I idolize some person. I think it's, to me, more important to hear a variety of viewpoints from people who are well-rounded and are using that brain that God gave them. And so I like to hear what they have to say. So I would say at any one time, I'm regularly reading and following, the 10 or so folks to get different ideas on things. And I can't point to one person who's been an exact, just overriding figure in all of that sort of thing for me. Let's see. Do I recommend fasting? If so, what is the best and most effective? I eat breakfast at 6 a.m., skip lunch, and dinner around 5 a.m. The answer is, this is from Holly. The answer is yes, I do, in fact, recommend fasting. I think fasting is a great idea. And human beings did it for thousands and thousands of years prior to the modern era. The idea that we have to eat 3 times a day is a bunch of baloney. It's not true. You don't have to do it. Fasting is associated with many good health outcomes, and I highly recommend it. You can call it skipping meals. The longer the period goes, the better off you are. So if you want to do fasting, I think it's great.